What happens when law, business, and life collide? Each week on Lead Counsel, your host Tom Tona will take a deep dive into topics related to the law, the business of law, and life. There will be insightful discussions with industry insiders, experts, and thought leaders making significant contributions and meaningful differences in their fields of expertise. Tom is the founder and managing attorney at TonaLaw. He has been a practicing attorney since 1994 and the leader of TonaLaw since it opened in 2001. The goal of this podcast is to provide you with free information on law and the business of law, and to give you actionable tools related to each of these areas. Now, here's Tom.
Hey, welcome back to the Lead Counsel Podcast. This is your host, Tom Tona. I'm here with my host and good friend, Juliet. Jules, what's going on?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
So today's episode is going to be short and sweet, and it's for all of our personal injury clients and or potential personal injury clients. Today, we're going to be going over mistakes to avoid during and after your personal injury claim. Typical mistakes that we see play out on a too often basis that can affect the outcome of your case. And we want to help you to avoid those, right? So understanding the basics of a personal injury case. You've been in an accident, whether it's a auto accident, premises liability, trip and fall, slip and fall, or something along those lines. Immediately, you have to understand that anybody you talk to, anything that you do or say can be used later on in that claim. Right? Mm-hmm. Every personal injury case consists of the same evaluation for a personal injury law firm. 1, liability. Who did what wrong? How did the accident occur? 2, what are the damages? Right? What are your injuries? What are your economic and non-economic damages? And 3, insurance. What is the insurance coverage that's there? Because even if you have strong liability and strong damages with nobody to collect from, it's going to be very difficult to advance a case, right? Mm-hmm. So once those 3 factors are evaluated, we then roll into the actual claims process. So 1, get all of the necessary documentation together immediately after the accident or the injury occurs. So that involves police report, hospital records, any medical records that you could obtain on your own prior to calling or meeting an attorney. Take pictures immediately of the scene, of the mechanism of injury, and even of the injuries themselves. Have some type of mechanism to date the photos of the injuries as well as the photos of the scene. You know, if you're at the scene and you can get pictures of the locations of the car, do that. Again, assuming that you're physically able to, right?
Mm-hmm. It's as simple as like pulling out your cell phone and taking pictures, and they all come with dates.
Yeah, we have cameras we carry around with us every day called cell phones. Pull it out and take photos, right? If you're at an accident scene where 2 cars have collided, take photos of the front and back of the driver's license of the other vehicle as well as their insurance card, right? These are all things you wouldn't normally think of. Okay, so you are now home after the emergency room. Hopefully you're okay and everything's okay. Here are things that you should not do. No particular order at this point. Just riffing off the top of my head. 1, don't talk to the insurance companies before you consult with an attorney. Anything that you say to any insurance company will guaranteed at some point be put in a file somewhere if they're not recording every call, and they will try to use anything that you say. So examples. Somebody says, how you feeling? I'm fine. Or you say, I wasn't looking. Or, you know, it might have been my fault. Or I'll be okay. Or anything along those lines. The insurance company is not only writing them down and they're transcribing the call and recording the call. They will use those statements against you. Mm-hmm. Next thing not to do, don't post on social media anything about the case, the claim, the injuries, the accident. Don't even post that you were in an accident. Even better, don't post on social media till the case is over, okay? Social media in New York is discoverable, and we get discovery requests all the time in litigation for access to social media accounts. And some judges will give it. Some judges won't give it, but it is discoverable, so I'd rather you not do it. If you're my client, I don't want social media being put in front of you at a deposition that really damages the case. The next thing not to do, don't stop treating for your injuries. If your doctor recommends treatment, follow their recommendations. Do not skip visits. I understand that it becomes a long, tedious process, but I can't tell you the number of times, Jules, that I have a client who will slow down treatment, and then I get on the phone with them, or one of the attorneys in the office gets on the phone with them, and we ask one question: how you feeling? And then they complain, I'm still in a lot of pain. I'm still hurt. Then why aren't you treating for it? Right? And my next conversation with the client is, look, I can't make a recovery for injuries that are not in medical records, and I can't make a recovery for you for complaints that are not being made to doctors. You have to back it up with treatment, right? You won't get better without that treatment, number one. And number two, it will impact your case.
Yeah. And sometimes clients on the back end are somewhat surprised of what the insurance company is offering. And we're like, well, you stopped treating over a year ago at this point, and you say you're still in pain, but there's just no documentation of that. So it's like the more documentation, the better for you.
That's right. The next thing not to do, don't sign anything, right? Signing anything that an insurance carrier sends you could significantly impact your case. Not only could you be waiving important rights and future benefits, you can drastically reduce a payout, right? So I always tell a story. I had one client where an insurance company showed up at the scene in a Ford Explorer, blue and white Ford Explorer. I won't say who the insurance company is, but any attorneys listening to this would know. And they offered a client who had her head split open from the top of her forehead to the middle of her nose, was just split open. They were offering her $5,000, and they had what's called a general release with them. Had she accepted that check and signed the back of it and then signed the general release, she would not have gotten the multiple six-figure recovery that we got for her, right? So any simple piece of paper that you're being asked to sign by an insurance company has legal implications. You have to consult with a personal injury attorney. We won't charge you if we can't help you, right? So just don't do it. Don't do it.
Just don't sign anything.
Don't sign anything. Just consult with a personal injury attorney. We don't charge for consultations. People can call our office, send us all the paperwork. They don't even have to come in and sit with us if they don't want, but they can sit with us if they want to. And we will review everything. Okay, so the next thing, don't fail to gather information and preserve all evidence. I tell clients, keep a log of your entire life after the accident. Write it down in a notebook, right? In that notebook, write down every medical treatment you go to. Every time you have a sleepless night because of pain, write that down. If you're having issues within your marriage because of it, write it down. All of this stuff goes into building the case. And you're guaranteed not going to remember everything 2 years later when you're sitting in a deposition.
And all this stuff could be helpful to you at the end of your case. So it's just always important. The more documentation, the better.
Right. The next don't delay in hiring an attorney. The insurance companies have armies of attorneys, in-house counsel that they're called, right? And they are involved in every step of the way of every claim, advising adjusters behind the scenes. Why wouldn't you want an attorney on your side doing it? In 29 years of practice, I have never seen an insurance company do the right thing by a client without an attorney involved. Period. End of discussion. And I know clients are skeptical of attorneys, but I'm telling you, we're here to help. And if you're on the fence, get on the phone, talk to an attorney at least. And if you're still on the fence, maybe you need to talk to a different attorney, right?
The insurance company is using an attorney. You should as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, we don't charge for consultations. Why wouldn't you pick up the phone and just ask us questions, right? Okay. So one of the rules of thumb that I give as another don't speak to anybody about your case other than your attorney or through your attorney. If you're wise and you're listening and you hire a personal injury attorney like TonaLaw, right? One of the great attorneys that we have here, they will speak on your behalf. So then if the insurance adjuster calls you 5 days after the accident, we tell you, don't talk to him. Have him call the office and speak to the attorney that's representing you, right? Another big don't. do not lie or exaggerate facts about your case, any prior injuries, or medical treatment, right? Best thing you can do, tell your attorney the truth about all of it. We've dealt with it before. We will be able to advise you and still deal with the facts as they are to still optimize a recovery. The worst thing you can do is lie or exaggerate facts about your case.
Yep. Just better to be honest.
This is a don't that I don't know if it's going to be controversial or not, but I don't think it is. While you can handle your own personal injury case, I always advise people don't do it, right? I am an attorney. I have 7 attorneys that work at our law firm, right? I don't represent myself on any legal matters. I hire outside attorneys for everything that relates to my law firm. Why? Because A, I'm too close to the law firm to be emotionally impartial and to be able to exercise impartial judgment. Whereas if I pay an attorney to do that, that's their job and they're going to be impartial and they're going to give me good advice. So especially if you're a non-attorney trying to handle your own personal injury case, you're not going to get the result that you should be getting if you hire somebody who handles personal injury cases for 30 years, right? You just not.
And just like people hire real estate agents to help them in purchasing a house, because there's just things that you're not going to understand about the industry if you're outside of it, which is totally understandable. You should get a lawyer to help you with any legal matter.
Right. Well, listen, you can pull your own tooth. I don't recommend you doing it, right? You could tie your bad tooth to a door and slam that door shut and try to pull it out. You probably break the tooth at the root and then need surgery. But it's the same thing. Like, okay, you got an infection in your foot. Do you want to slice it open and drain the infection and possibly make it worse? And I don't know if you need to amputate it. You're going to saw it off yourself. It's the same thing. Yes, you can save some money. You're probably losing way more money in the long run. So that's just my personal opinion is don't attempt to handle it yourself. Just get somebody that you feel that you can relate to, that is communicating with you and addressing your concerns and treating you the way you want to be treated. That's really what it comes down to. And then the last thing, which is a biggie, is there are a lot of deadlines that come into play in personal injury cases, like filing, especially in New York, filing of a no-fault application. That has a deadline, strict deadline. If you miss it, you might not be able to get your medical bills paid, right? Submission of medical bills has to occur within a certain time frame. And filing of a lawsuit. If any of these time frames are missed, then you're going to be out. You won't be able to get certain benefits, certain rights, or even a full recovery. Again, work with a law firm that does it every day, and they know those deadlines. And they have a team to make sure you're not going to miss those deadlines, and special software to make sure that you don't miss those deadlines, right? So the biggest takeaways are, if you're in an accident and you're injured, you should just seek out an attorney who's saying to you, like I'm saying to you right now, your only job is to get better. Your only job is to treat. We'll take care of the rest. And in taking care of the rest, we're going to fight to get you everything that you deserve as far as a recovery. And we fight for all your benefits, right? Most law firms only handle the personal injury aspect. We have a fully functioning no-fault recovery division that specializes in the collection of what most people are really concerned about, which is lost wages. How am I going to live after the accident? So we have a personal injury division that handles the third-party personal injury case against the person that hurt them. And then we have an entire division set up to make sure that we're recovering everything that client's entitled to as far as basic economic loss under their no-fault policy, lost wages, lien recoveries that we make after the personal injury case is closed. We don't just pay out your liens. We get them paid back from the no-fault carrier when no fault is there, right? So I'd be happy to speak to anybody that's listening to this. We're going to use this to send it to clients, but I just thought it'd be good to do a quick podcast episode, and I appreciate you tuning in.
It also is an extremely stressful time in somebody's life when they go through traumatic injury like this, a car accident, a slip and fall, whatever the case may be. So going to a firm like TonaLaw, where they can handle everything from your medical bills to the insurance companies, just make it less stressful for yourself. So it's kind of a no-brainer to trust in an attorney to handle these things for you.
Yeah, listen, Jules, I mean, look, you can speak firsthand. We've represented relatives of yours, right? And we always say, look, the minute you hire us, we got the stress. That's why we get paid. We handle all aspects of the case. And your job is to just move forward. Your job is to just get your physical, mental, emotional space back to where you were. It's our job to collect. It's our job to do the legal work to collect what you're entitled to, right?
And for everybody listening, we do have an ebook available on our website that details all of what we just talked about, plus way more information that's available for you. It's free. You can download it and read it on our website. And we will be sure to link it in the podcast description for everybody.
All right. So thank you for tuning into the Lead Counsel podcast. Hopefully you found this episode helpful. You know, the main goal of the podcast is just to provide value, right? So you can reach us at 844-TonaLaw. Go to TonaLaw.com. Email us at contact@TonaLaw.com. And you can follow us on social media. We're all over social media. So just Google TonaLaw and you'll see all of the stuff pop up. If you want to follow me personally and kind of see my philosophies on the business that we run and the firm that we run and the culture that we have, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to connect with anybody. And any of the people that contact us through social media, you're getting Jules and myself answering back all of the inquiries. So I appreciate it.
Feel free to DM us.
Yep. And I appreciate you tuning in today. Thank you. We're out, Jules.
Thank you, everybody.